It's just verbal diarrhea. They've got no clue. They'll orbit around the subject that they want to talk about, and yet they'll never actually quite reach it because they don't have a clue. Hi, I'm Brant van West, your favorite business and leadership development specialist, and today I'm going to give you 5 little tips to give your presentations a little bit more power. Let's start off with a bit of a disclaimer. This is not an exhaustive list, meaning there are many more factors that goes into presenting with power to become a dynamic presenter. There are many more things that you need to take into account, like your audience, your message, the way that you present your message, the professionality that you present your message with. But for now, for this moment, these are my top 5 tips to get you started, to get you up and get you running by being better at presenting and adding a little bit more flair, a little bit more flavor, and a little bit more power with your presentations. So tip number 1, my very first tip for presenting with power is to do the work. Put in the time, put in the effort. I know, it takes a long time, it's tedious, it's boring. Do it anyway. You need to be able to speak on something that you actually have knowledge about, actually have some bit of experience about, and know what you're talking about. You need to have done the research, read on it, studied it, thought about it, reflected on it, answered questions about it. Step number 1 is to be prepared. Do the research, put in the work. Many people stand up and they talk about something and it's just nonsense. It's just verbal diarrhea. They've got no clue. They'll orbit around the subject that they want to talk about. Don't be that person, right? Be the person who is professional, who is prepared, who stands up and has the confidence and the knowledge and experience to actually present on something that they actually know. Do the research, put in the work, be the professional. Tip number 2 for presenting with power is to have a point and get to it. Get to the point. If you ask any 8-year-old child a question, they'll talk and talk and talk and never really reach the conclusion or actually answer the question that you asked. If you are a human adult person who has the power to order dessert at any point in time in the day and nobody there to stop you, then you also have the power and responsibility to edit for information, to keep my interest and to get to the point. So learn to be succinct, learn to edit for information, and try and keep somebody's interest. A basic rule of thumb for presenting is to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. When presenting on a topic, figure out what is your point first. What is the point you're trying to make? What are subsequent points that you're trying to make? Then structure your speech, your topic, your presentation around that point. Then tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them the things that you need to tell them and then tell them what you just told them. Tip number 3 is that you need to understand that it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. How are you presenting the information? What are the words that you're using? How much value and information and meaning do you add to these words? Words have different meaning to different people. But the emotion that you can attach to different words when we are expressing sorrow or happy or anger, whatever we can do to add more value to the way we are communicating will give people a better communication experience and a better presentation experience. People learn best in moments of enjoyment. So make it fun, make it interesting. Use highs and use lows when you're trying to present information. Make it fun, make it interesting. Make people laugh and cry and be happy and maybe even make them angry once in a while. And the words that you use with your friends might not be the same words, at least probably not, that you're going to use with the Queen of England, for example, right? Just an example. The choice of words that we use, the way we add meaning and value and emotion experience to words can take us a lot further than just the words themselves. And if you want people to take away your point that you're trying to make it enjoyable, make it fun. Tip number 4 is to move more. Don't just be a talking head. Even if that head is full of emotion and excitement, add some body language, add a different stance. Approach the audience, make eye contact, make it feel personal. Don't just have one tone of voice, one body posture. Be exciting, be dynamic, add a little bit more power to your presentations. Tip number 5, my final tip for presenting with power is to add more visual imagery. It's fine for some people to say, this has a 7.333% chance of success. Unfortunately, most people just don't get it. They just don't have the ability to visualize it in their head. But saying something like, there's a greater chance that the moon is made out of cheese, then this thing has a chance of succeeding. It's a lot different and it gets people to imagine something maybe completely insane, maybe completely ridiculous, but it gets them active, it gets them thinking. And that comparison between the one and the other thing gets them to bridge that mental gap between what you want to convey and the factual reality of something. Numbers are fine for a lot of people. For some people, it's clear, it's organized, it's very neat, tidy, orderly. And for other people, it just doesn't mean anything. So adding some visual imagery to when you're speaking. It's a difference between saying, I am bad at dancing, to saying, when I dance, it looks more like a crocodile having an epileptic fit. Adding a bit more visual imagery will get you further in your presentation, and it will get you to present with power. As I've said in the beginning, this is not an exhaustive list. If you have something that you want to add extra, please leave a comment down below. And as always, I'm Ron Van West. I hope you learned something, and I look forward to seeing you again next time.